comfortable for you to start your practice this evening. And if anything comes up during the class, you have any questions, or I don't know, we lose connection or you can't hear me, just feel free to pop into the chat, and then I get a notification about that. So that is perfect. All right. So just settling into your space. Be taking time to just move anything around you. Give yourself some space for your mat, lots of wing space for your arms, for your legs. Comfortable, you can also close the eyes for this part of your practice tonight. Again, completely up to you and your comfort level. And just taking a few moments to really arrive on your mat. So you can arrive in many different ways. You can take a few moments to just check in with yourself mentally, kind of acknowledge what you haven't had a chance to acknowledge during the day. And we can also do our check-in physically. So when we're lying there or sitting there, we can really tune into the areas of the body and notice what we notice. We all come to our mat with different physical needs, different physical things that we need to be aware of. So this is a good time to remind yourself of what you already know about your body, but also check in new, anything different that your body may be saying this evening that you need to be aware of. So just start to tune into that breath. Notice how your breathing feels, and maybe notice how your breathing can help you release or check in with those physical areas of the body as well. If it feels right, you can start to deepen the breath. To change how the breath or how the breath exhales. So you can breathe in through the nose, exhale through the mouth, or you could breathe in through the nose and exhale through the nose as well. A few more breaths to really settle yourself, to really ground yourself to your mat. Maybe letting the last few breaths to be a sigh out the mouth, make an audible noise, or really push that air away. More space as you exhale. Just allowing that breath to return to normal again, in and out through the nose or the mouth, whatever is natural for you. Practice to set an intention. We're welcome to begin to do that now. It's always nice to just remind yourself to be as present as you can during the practice. Really let yourself take this time for you. Start to bring in some movement back, some wiggles, maybe starting at the extremities with the fingers and the toes. Maybe some sways from side to side. And then you can start to notice your movements getting a little bit bigger. So maybe rolling through the wrists and through the ankles. If you're lying down, maybe bending through the knees, swaying from side to side. And roll through the shoulders. If you found yourself on your back tonight, just slowly start to come onto one side. Side of your choice, take a moment there, take a full breath in, full breath out. Slowly start to bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. Comfortable seat, you could put a pillow underneath to give you a little bit more comfort. If you have blocks where you have a bolster, that might be comfortable too for you to sit. If you were seated for the whole part of your practice up to this point, you can just switch which leg was in front if you're cross-legged. To that neck, and we'll start to warm up through the arms. So take a nice inhale, reach those arms up towards the sky, bring the gaze up towards the fingertips. Good, join the palms together, exhale, let the palms lower towards the earth, tuck the chin towards the chest. Pause here with those fingertips on either side of the hips, chin towards the chest, feel that stretch to the back of your neck. Good, let's do that again. Nice inhale, reach up, lift up, look up. Good, and then exhale, float those fingertips down, tuck that chin. Good, let's do one more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fingertips down, chin to chest. Those fingertips where they are, bring that gaze back up to center. Let's bring that right ear towards the right shoulder. So maybe this is enough of a stretch for you. Maybe you want to walk those left fingertips out a little bit more. And maybe you want to take that right hand to the head and just gently as a guide to create a little bit more of a stretch on the left side. Within your range of motion, you can even adjust that chin. So you can move that chin forwards and back, feeling that stretch in different areas. That gaze can come to the mat, that gaze can come forward. And just moving very gently. Okay, let's bring everything back up through the center. And let's bring that left ear towards left shoulder. So pause here for a moment. Maybe walk out those fingertips. Maybe use that left hand. If it feels okay, you can start to change that gaze. So you're changing the angle, changing that feeling of the stretch. turn myself up all the way for the sound. Hopefully that helps with the sound connection. We'll see if that makes it any better. Okay, bringing that gaze back up to the center. Let's reach those fingertips all the way back up towards the sky. And this time we'll exhale the hands, bring them down through to your heart. Gently tuck that chin towards the chest. Take another full breath in. Full breath out. Nice. From here, you can set any props you had off to the side. And we're going to come into our tabletop position. So we're going to come into our hands and our knees. So normally we say wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, but sometimes a little bit of a wider stance can make us feel more stable. So whatever's comfortable for you. Just take some time here, really root through those fingertips, push down through the tops of the feet, and just start to sway that weight from left to right, right to left. Start to move through our cat-cow. So we're going to inhale, drop the belly, lift that chest, bring the gaze forward. And then let's exhale to round, tuck that chin towards the chest, push the mat away, round through the spine. And let's inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest. And then let's exhale, round, find that space between the shoulder blades. Continue with that cat-cow movement. You can bring in some side-to-side movement. You can bend through the elbows, sit those hips back. One more of each before we meet back into that neutral tabletop. And then from here, we're going to extend that right leg out behind us. So leave those right toes tucked. And just take a moment to rock forwards and back. So starting to feel that stretch through the back of your calf, maybe even up into the back of the leg. That right knee back beside the left, and then we'll switch. So we'll send that left leg long behind, tuck those toes, and then rock forwards and backwards. Here I'm going to get you to lift up that left leg. So those toes are hovering and you're reaching that left leg long towards the back of the room. We're not here for long. Take a full breath in. And then on your exhale, bend through that left knee and step it up in between your hands. So you're coming up into your low lunge. This would be a great place if you have blocks or you have books or anything to help give you a little bit of height. You can grab onto those. So you can have them onto either side of the foot. And when we have our knee bent here, it's left knee over top of left ankle. And you can bring your hands down to those blocks or to the books or to the floor, wherever you are. And just find a gentle rock back and forth. And when you find that rock, you're not bringing that knee too much in front of the ankle. So you really want to create that, that space between the back of the hip, but you also don't want to go too far with the front leg. Come back to that original position we were in. So that left knee over top of left ankle. We're going to bring ourselves all the way up and we'll lift the arms up towards the sky. So reach up and soften those shoulders. Feel like you're actively hugging the thighs towards one another to give yourself a little bit more stability and then a little bit more strength into the core as well. From here, bring the hands to the back of the head so that the elbows are pointing out towards the sides of the room. Take a nice inhale, feel that open, that expansion through the chest. And then on your exhale, round. Bring those elbows together. Tuck that chin towards the chest and round through your upper back. Good. Inhale, open up nice and wide. And exhale to round. Good. Continue with that pattern in the upper body. And the whole time you're doing this, you want to keep that lower body nice and strong and stable. So again, actively drawing those thighs together, actively pushing that back foot, top of the foot, and the back leg into the mat. Actively pushing that front foot down. Good. One more. Nice. You can release those hands back down beside the legs. And then from here, we're going to extend that front leg long. So we're going to extend that front leg long. So we're coming onto the left heel, left toes are pointing up towards the sky. Again, those blocks can come back towards the hips to help support you if you have them. And then slowly start to bend back into that knee, coming forward back into that low lunge. So move through a few of these in a little bit of a flow. So we'll inhale to come forward into that low lunge. And then on our exhale, we're going to find that length. And move as slowly as you like. If you want to move a little bit faster, that's okay too. You're welcome to stay in one of these postures for a couple of breaths if it feels really good for you. That low lunge the next time you get there. Just let those blocks, those books, those props up off to the front of the mat. I'm going to bring the hands on either side of the foot. We're going to tuck those back right toes. We're going to come up off of the right knee. And we're just going to walk ourselves to the long edge of our mat. So have those toes come with you. So your toes are pointing towards the long edges of your mat and your hands are there along with you. So we're in our wide leg forward fold. If you want to bring your blocks along for the ride, you're welcome to do that. Just take a moment in that wide leg forward fold. You can rock forwards and back. More intense stretch the back of the legs this time into your hamstrings. We're going to take those fingertips and walk all the way over to the right foot and pivot ourselves. So this would be the back of your mat. So if your mat is lengthwise and you can see me on either side, you're just walking to the other side. If you're, you have it more vertically positioned, you're welcome to go back to the front and just switch what foot was in front, or you can face away from the camera and just listen. We're going to do similarly to what we did on the other side. So we're back in that low lunge, that right foot is forward. So check in that right knee over top of right ankle. And then extend those arms up towards the sky. Just take a moment to settle in here. Another really good cue too is to try to avoid dumping in through those hips. So you want to have a slight engagement in through your core. Again, that's why we're drawing those thighs together to give ourselves that support. When you're ready, the hands can come to the back of the head, elbows out. And then start to move through that flow with the arms. So inhaling that expansion, that opening, and then exhaling to draw the elbows together. Check in as you move through that. Beautiful. Everyone looks great. A couple more here. After that last one, you can bring those hands back down to either side of that right foot this time. And then with those blocks or the books, or if you have any props, we'll start to bring that extension through the front leg. So coming on to that right heel, right toes up towards the sky. And then drawing yourself forward back into that low lunge. Just moving between those two movements. Of each before we meet back into that low lunge. When we're back in that low lunge, you probably guessed it, we're going to plant those hands, tuck those back toes, lift up onto that left knee, walk ourselves back to the long edges of our mat, and we're going to come back into that wide leg forward fold. This time you can play with how it feels walking the fingertips towards one side of the mat, and maybe walking them towards the other. Walk ourselves back up to the front of our mat, wherever that may be, wherever we landed. We're going to bring both of those knees together, and we're going to sink those hips back into our first child's pose. So you can bring the knees a little bit wider towards the long edges of your mat if that's comfortable. Send those hips back down towards the heels, reaching the hands out in front of you, or maybe stacking the hands, elbows out to the side to give yourself a bit more support for your forehead. Take 2 full breaths here. Slowly start to bring yourself back up into your tabletop position. You're welcome to stay in your tabletop if you wish, or if your body's looking for a downward facing dog this evening, you're welcome to walk the hands forward. Send those hips up towards the sky. Leaving a bend in the knees is a great idea, totally normal way to come into your down dog. It's really about that lift through the hips, less than it is about bringing the heels towards the mat. So if you've chosen your down dog, you can walk your dog, pedal out through your feet. If you've chosen to stay in your tabletop, this would be a great time to come through some more cat-cows. Wherever you found yourself, start to bend through those knees, bring that gaze towards the fingertips. Take as many steps as you need to bring yourself up to the front of your mat. Let's find that forward fold. So forward fold, nice bend through the knees. You can also bring that block in front of you to help support to the hands. You need a little bit more height. From here, let's come into our halfway lift. We'll bring hands to shins, lengthen through that spine, bring that gaze forward. Good. Exhale, lower yourself back down to your fold. Let's root to rise. So really roots splay through all those toes. And then roll yourself all the way up to standing nice and slow. Good. Once you get there, circle, reach, lift those arms up towards the sky. Exhale to bring your hands down to your heart. So let's take a moment in our upright posture in our Tadasana. Soften those shoulders as much as you can away from the ears. Close the eyes if you wish. Great time to tune back into your breath. Take that final breath fully in through the nose if you can. And maybe out through the mouth. Beautiful. Come into a nice gentle flow. Let's inhale, reach those arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, bring yourself down to that fold. Inhale to find your halfway. And exhale to fold yourself down. I'm going to get you to step your right foot back, leave that left foot forward. You're going to come into a standing lunge. So we're going to be doing a little bit of work more so through the lower body today. So some stretching, more so of a focus there. So when you're in that lunge, again, check in that front knee is over top of front ankle. Need to shorten your stance a little bit, feel free. Maybe find something to help with your balance. Then we're going to find a nice inhale with the arms. And then when we exhale, we're going to leave those arms up, but sink a little bit more down into the legs if we can. So bend a little bit more through those knees, create that stability, and then soften those shoulders in your lunge. Good. Take 2 breaths, nice and focused. Again, all those cues that we did when we were on the mat. So drawing the thighs together, gently engaging through your abdominals. Good. Then from on your next inhale, imagine someone's reaching those fingertips, pulling you gently by the fingertips further up towards the sky. And then on your exhale, start to open so that that left hand comes forward, right hand comes back. You're coming into an open twist. You can bring that gaze back to the right fingertips if that's available to you. Comfortable for the neck. Good, then take that right hand, drop it to the back of the right leg and reach that left arm up towards the sky. So you're coming into an exalt. So you're opening through that chest, reaching with the left fingertips. Take one more full breath in and out. Good, draw everything back up through the center. Both of those fingertips come up towards the sky. Exhale to lower them down to frame that front foot. Bend through that knee, bring that back foot up to meet its partner. Come back to that fold. Let's find our inhale to halfway. And our exhale to fold. And then root to rise once more. Push, lift to the feet, reach those arms all the way up to the sky, and circle yourself down into that Tadasana. Let's take a few more breaths in our Tadasana. Again, eyes can be closed. You can even try a different position with the hands. Maybe you want to bring the hands to the belly. You can bring your hands to your heart, hands down by your side, lots of options. I always like to think of Tadasana as a way to reset or reconnect if you feel like you lost focus or lost that intention that you set for yourself. Connection reestablished. You can open the eyes, reach the arms up to the sky, inhale. Exhale, maybe swan dive this time to bring yourself down to that fold. Inhale to your halfway lift. And exhale to your fold. Plant those hands. That right foot is going to stay forward this time. Left foot is going to go back. We're going to come into our lunge on this side. So do those little checks for yourself, a familiar posture at this point. And then when you're ready, you can inhale those arms up and settle down through the shoulders. Bend a little bit more to the knees on your exhale. We're going to take those 2 breaths. Actually, I think it was 3. We'll go with 3. We'll do 3 breaths here in the lunge. A little bit of work for the low body. Then from here on that next inhale, really reach those fingertips up. Like imagine someone's pulling you up even more towards the sky. And then take that exhale and open into that open twist. So right fingertips forward, left fingertips back. Maybe the gaze comes along. When you're ready, you can find that exalt. Drop the back left hand to the left leg. Reach that right arm up towards the sky. Find that nice opening through the heart, through the chest. Nice. Draw everything back up to the center. Reach those arms up. Nice full inhale. Exhale, circle those hands down, frame that front foot, bring that back foot up to meet its partner, your back in that fold. Take a moment here in this fold. You can bring opposite hands to opposite elbows. You can widen your stance a little bit more if that makes you more comfortable. And a nice rock from side to side. Good. Let's come back into our halfway lift from wherever we are. Inhale to find that length. And exhale to come into that fold once more. Let's roll ourselves up. Find that Tadasana. Circle those arms and come back down to the heart. Last Tadasana of the evening. So choose that position for the hands that works for you. Maybe try something a little bit different. And refocus. Refocus the breath. Refocus the mind. Refocus the body. Just bring yourself back. Start to reopen the eyes. Inhale with the arms, lift it all up. Exhale, fold yourself down. Plant those hands as a way to help you to bring one knee and then the other back down towards your mat. So let's come back into our child's pose. So whatever version of child's felt comfortable for you last time, maybe coming into the same, or maybe mixing it up. You can always reach those hands back towards the heels if you want something a little bit different. You can stay up onto the forearms. And just find a little bit of movement here, some gentle, gentle rocks from side to side. Slowly start to draw those knees together, come back up into your tabletop. We're going to come into a version of pigeon. So it's going to be a little bit less of an opening than maybe we might be used to because we're going to come into it from our tabletop position. So we'll start with the right knee. We're going to bring the right knee up as if we're bringing it up towards the top corner, the top right corner of our mat. And then once you get here, just take a moment, a little peek over top of your left shoulder, just to make sure that that left leg is long behind you. And if pigeon isn't an option that you like, you can just hang tight and I'll give you another option in just a second. So if you're comfortable with pigeon, that left leg is long, right knee is bent towards the right side of your mat. You can come down onto your forearms if that's comfortable for you. Some of us may have the availability to even bring the head down, or you can bring a pillow down to help instead, or you can stay up onto nice long arms. You can find a little gentle rock before you come into that stillness. Now, if pigeon isn't comfortable for you, you can come into a different version. You can have the knees up towards the sky, the feet planted onto your mat. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this one. We'll see. Hands come behind. Left leg is good. Left foot's gonna stay down. You're gonna cross that right ankle over top of the left, so that right knee's out to the side, like a seated figure four. Then you can find that rock here as well. Into this posture, the deeper that we breathe, the more relaxed our body becomes, and the more able we're really to reap all the full benefits of these different postures. Breaths on this side. Whichever version you were in, using those hands to help you. If you were in your pigeon, you can bring that right knee back beside the left. If you were in your seated figure four, you can uncross the leg and then just start to sway those hips from side to side. We're going to come right into the other side. So again, that figure four or your pigeon, we're coming with that left leg this time. So the left knee is coming towards the left corner of your mat. You're extending that right leg behind you, maybe bringing that gaze along with you. And then settling yourself into this side. If you're doing the figure four, it's the left that's crossing over top of the right knee. just the way you did the opposite side. So giving this side of the body some time to relax into the posture. And maybe deepening through the breath if you can. Or maybe it's in the face, maybe it's in the hands. Where are you holding tension? That posture. And we'll all begin to make our way onto our backs, if that's where you're comfortable for your Shavasana. If you prefer to be seated for your Shavasana, then you're welcome to stay seated. You're coming down onto your spine. Just take a moment to settle yourself down there. Once you arrive, you can bring your knees into your chest, give yourself a hug, some sways. If you're seated, you can do those sways too, just with the upper body. The final posture this evening, I would suggest some twists, some supine twists, or you can do this from seated as well. So if you're lying onto your back, you bring those knees all the way over to the right-hand side. You can bring the gaze towards the left. If you're seated, you would bring the knees over towards the right-hand side as well. This would be a nice time to close the eyes. Switch sides so the knees can come all the way to the left. Again, gaze can come the opposite way. Slowly start to lower yourself back to center, and then settle yourself into whatever your Shavasana is going to look like this evening. Have as much space as you need, or maybe you need a little bit more warmth. Maybe you want to have the hands on the belly and you want to have the hands on your heart. Wherever you need to have those hands, please place them to make yourself feel comfortable. To really Soak in all that beautiful movement, all the beautiful breath work you moved through. Just taking 5 moments to be still. To deepen through your inhales and exhales, that full expansion. Whatever way feels natural. So maybe some wiggles. Maybe it's taking a few more breaths and just allowing the mind to reacclimatize to your space. Your mind down, you can slowly bring onto the side of your choice. Bring yourself to a comfortable seat. Eyes closed. It's for you. Down. Tucking the chin towards the chest. Taking one final moment of gratitude for yourself, gratitude for your mind, your body, and your breath, for everything you moved through this evening. And gratitude for making it to your mat. It's not as easy when we're practicing at home. To guide you through your practice, always one of the highlights of the week. So thank you so much for being here tonight. From my light to yours, namaste.